What do you reckon, Nick? Do you reckon that there's a bit of that when we tell the surveys that we've had enough of the scandal, we don't like to admit it? Or do you think there's truth in this? Look, the public really have been overfed this diet?
Yeah. Look, I think there may be a little bit of truth in that effect you described there, Chris. But look, I mean, I think this polling, they asked the question 2 or 3 ways, so they drill down to try and find out what people are thinking. And it seems to me the kind of stories people are less interested, they think are covered too much, are the ones that are removed from their everyday lives. And let's face it, you know, the royal family is completely removed from most people's everyday lives, and the goings-on in Parliament are removed from people's lives too. Because if you look at the stories they say have not been covered enough, they're talking about foreign affairs, defence, economic recovery, the floods, crucially, climate change, job seeker, job keeper. They're the ones that they would like to hear more of, because they do actually affect people in a much more material way. And I think the challenge is for newsrooms, and that's all of us who have even the slightest brush with the news media, need to recognise that our perspective is almost always very, very different from the view of the man in the street.
Yeah, Sophie, these things are not so easy to interpret, because we know, for instance, the royal scandal, there's enormous interest. There are a lot of eyeballs on those stories, but perhaps what it shows is people want to see it. Of course, they're interested. They see it. They make up their own mind. They don't want the media banging on about it for days on end.
Chris, people love peering into other people's lives, particularly when it comes to the royal family. But I think, what we've seen in recent weeks and months, this obsession with stories on what's going on in Canberra is overcooked. I mean, the problem with the media across Australia is most of it is based in the metropolitan cities, in an inner ring of about 10 k's of the radius. And a lot of these journalists and reporters don't go beyond that. They've got no idea what people are really concerned about beyond this inner city collective. And, I grew up in regional Victoria. My family still lived there. And I can tell you, Chris, at the local pub and in the nearby towns, they're not talking about what goes on in Canberra. They're having the odd laugh about it. They're more concerned about their livelihoods. They're worried if they're going to have a job. They're worried about property prices, house prices, the future for their kids. They're not talking about what's going on in this Canberra bubble.
Yeah, Sophie, I just want to bring up a story that you ran in The Australian this week that maybe highlights that, and that is the ratings dive for the ABC's Q&A program. Tell us about what you revealed there, and is that a sign that this program is focusing, that is, the Q&A program, is not focusing on the issues that mainstream Australians are particularly wanting to hear?
Well, look, Chris, Q&A is in absolute trouble. I mean, its ratings that are out today show that it's hit the lowest levels ever, just above 220,000 viewers. Now, this show's been going 14 years. It was getting up around 600,000 viewers at some times, even higher than this. It's absolutely plummeted. Hamish McDonald, the former Project co-host, is in the hot seat now. He took over from Tony Jones. And in the last year that he's been in that role and a little longer, the show has pretty much been in free fall, particularly this year. And I think it shows that people are tuning out. They're not watching this show that seems to be heavily geared to the left. It's not a balanced program, it appears, and Conservatives that go on the program are severely attacked. And I think people are turning away to it because it's not actually focusing on issues that people really do care about, Chris.